GOA like no other person that I've ever seen, and it means deeply and means a lot to us. He is a recognized 2A advocate, and his channel provides daily news and reports on all matters involving the right to keep and bear arms, keeping us informed about the consistent attempts to infringe on our constitutional rights and the Second Amendment rights. Let's give him a warm welcome, a passionate, dedicated, inspiring Jared Yanis. Hey, how is everybody? I can't even hear you. How are y'all doing?
Great.
All right, so if you've ever seen me speak in person, you know that I try to give somebody information that they need to take action on, and today will be no different. So everybody's got a cell phone. Get your cell phone out, open up your notes app, because I'm going to give you some things that you should write down, because we only have a few days to take this action. And I need everybody to care about our country enough to take some action. Is anybody willing to do that?
Yeah.
All right, I hope so. Before I get down that road, how does everybody like the last 36 days with President Trump? President Trump has given us, the Second Amendment community, an opportunity that we have never had before. And as I've talked to a few people around the country about this the last 2.5 weeks, people aren't even aware of this opportunity. So I'm gonna tell you all about it, and I'm gonna expect you all to do like I do and make some action, take some action, and tell other people. So raise your hand if you've heard about this executive order that Donald Trump put out 3 weeks ago that said protecting the Second Amendment rights, right? We've never had a president in the history of this nation that had to do an executive order to say that the Constitution and the Bill of Rights mean something, right? He gave us 30 days to have the Attorney General dig up all the bad stuff that the Biden administration did to us with the ATF and the FBI and everybody else. And then she has to report to him with a comprehensive report along with her suggestion on action he should take to right this wrong. 30 days. That 30th day is March 9th. That's 10 days from now. We also have a president and an administration that has done something that no other one has before, including his first term, is they're utilizing social media to actually learn what the people want, what the people feel, and he's taken policy actions based off of posts on X, formerly called Twitter. So I'm going to give you a couple things here in a few minutes, and I want you to write them down, because these are little tiny actions that'll take 2 minutes of your life. 2 minutes here sitting in the shade or in the sun that can actually help groups like Gun Owners of America get quality information to the people who are about to make some serious decisions. Does anybody here like the pistol brace ban? Does anybody here like the redefining of what a gun or a frame or receiver is? Does anybody here really think that we should tell FFLs or citizens who want to sell their privately owned property that you need a federal license to sell that private piece of property that's protected under the Second Amendment? Is that cool for anybody? No. All right. So grab your phones and get ready to type down this number. There's a building in Washington, D.C. It's called the White House. You might have heard of it. And they have a switchboard. It's a little old lady who answers the phone and will direct your information or take messages. I usually tell people to call their senators and the representatives. I'll give you that number too, but I want you to call the White House. Does anybody here not have Twitter? Most people have it in this world. It's the only actual free information for the Second Amendment and freedom-loving community right now. Thank you, Elon Musk, because without his investment, I don't even want to know where this country would be right now. The following number will be the switchboard for the United States Supreme Office, the White House. It's area code 202. I'll say it a few times. 202-456-1111. 202-456-1111. There's a couple things, if you are on Twitter, you might not be following these few, and I'm going to give you their names, their handles, so that you can tag them in Second Amendment related posts many times between now and the 9th. The first one is called @POTUS, stands for President of the United States. It's now Donald Trump's team that runs that. The other one is at Real Donald Trump. The other one is at JD Vance. At VP, Victor Papa, Vice President. At Elon Musk. At Donald J. Trump Jr. You have to spell the whole thing out because you can't find him unless you do. And you need to make posts to those people telling them that you want Pam Bondi to get rid of these things that the Biden administration has done, to overturn executive orders that were only put in place to restrict the only right in the Bill of Rights that says shall not be infringed. We all have this right. It doesn't have to be on paper, but they have taken every action they can possibly do to whittle it away. There's another thing I want to try to get through to you guys, that I've traveled the country regularly, speaking at events like this, trying to get people to take part in our civic process and be part of the fix rather than part of the problem. Last year, I did a campaign across the country to try to tell gun owners, there were 10 million of us that were not even registered to vote, yet we called ourselves freedom-loving patriots. And we made a change, we made a dent in that. And right now, I'm here to tell you that if you look around, if you were here last year, you'll notice there's a little bit difference in the attendance. And it's not just here, it's everywhere I have been since November. Some of us call it the Trump slump 2.0. In Donald Trump's first term, we felt we won as gun owners. We felt that, like he said, the 8-year assault on your Second Amendment is over, right? Was it really? Because we're still here talking about the same stuff with the same government trying to restrict the same rights. It will never, ever end, folks. It will never, ever end, because greed equals power and everybody wants more power. Nobody ever says, I have too much power, I want to give some back. It has to be taken. So the Trump slump 2.0 is here. It's upon us. People don't feel they have to come out to rallies anymore. People don't feel they need to make Twitter posts, because I have so much to do in my life that 38 seconds might really set me back. We need to get over this. We need to tell our folks and friends and neighbors and relatives to take a few minutes of our lives to make a change. There's so much that can be done with Pam Bondi on the 9th when she produces that report to the president. But if they don't hear us loud and clear on some of the things that they're not really looking at right now, then it's not going to get done. And we're going to be complaining about it. We're going to be being an emin about it for another 4 years and maybe 8 years, depending on who's following this administration. We have 2 years, less than 2 years. It's a year and 8 months now. We don't have 4 years to get this stuff done because there's a thing called midterm elections. And typically, historically, it always goes the opposite way that the presidential election did. And we can't have that happen. So we have 2 years to get this stuff done. And we have people like Kash Patel, who I was blessed to meet at Goals and talk to him a little bit. We have people like Dan Bongino, who is sponsored by Blackout Coffee. And these guys are ready to just decimate the FBI and the bureaucracy and the corruption. And Kash also has to deal with the ATF right now. They need all the help they can get from the people who employ them. They're our employees. They want to know what we want. So send emails to your representatives, send emails to the White House, call them, use social media to your exact strength and power that it's made to be. We have an opportunity right now, guys and gals, that we've never had before. Write to them and say, listen, I don't want this pistol brace ban. I'm a disabled veteran, or my brother uses it because, or it was legal for 10 years and you just changed your mind because it's a piece of plastic you don't like. And you saw an opportunity to take away our rights. We have had people fired in this administration because of posts that went viral on Twitter. Things that are benefiting the country. And this is our opportunity, and I don't want to see it go to waste. The last thing I want is people on one of my videos to complain like, oh, nothing ever happens, man. It's just you doing these videos for another 10 years because nothing's ever going to happen. Guys, look at yourself in the mirror. We the people have the power. We the people run this country. We the people run that building. But there are a lot of people in that building that think you're just their servants, that you don't know any better, that they'll tell you how to operate, that they'll tell you what rights you have. And the only way it stops is if we get involved, every single one of us. There's children here, and I'm happy to see them. But like my friend Stephen Williford said earlier, we owe it to them. Just like our parents did to us and our grandparents did to them. They provided a free country, and we can't sit by while the opposite is trying to do everything they can to take away the one tool that'll keep us free. I don't know how much time I have left, so y'all gonna have to hang me out because I'm gonna just keep going. So make those posts, guys and gals, and support groups that are here supporting you. People don't come from around the country just because it's a cool, warm day and they live in a cold climate. They're here to support you and the struggle you have in this building behind me. And you've heard some great representatives and state senators here that are doing their work to try to help us. But what are we doing to help them is a question we should be asking. What are we doing to help them? It doesn't take a lot. Just get involved. Seriously, get involved. There's a couple other things. If everybody is a member of GOA, phenomenal. If you're not a member of GOA, change that. You can change it today. You can go talk to them over there. They put out a list of 14 things, and because I'm a solid lifetime member of Gun Owners of America, I'm gonna help them get their message across on some things you should put in those tweets to these people, okay? Other than what I've already said, including the executive orders that Biden put in place, the zero tolerance policy. I don't know if y'all if there's any FFLs here that were affected by that rule, but the zero tolerance policy is a way that the Biden administration is taking away your ability to exercise your right to keep and bear arms. They're going around, they're doing their annual inspections to federal firearms licensees, to gun shops, and they're trying their damnedest to find one single solid mistake that they made accidentally. And a lot of times it's some stupid clerical thing like a misspelling of a name, or somebody puts down the wrong abbreviation of a state, and they'll take away their license to do business, something that their livelihood depends on, and they're taking it away at a rate that we've never ever seen before. So we want to tell Pam Bondi and Donald Trump, you know what, not only stop that, but everybody that you just took away their livelihood over the last 4 years, give it back, and give it back with interest. NICS checks. Now, as somebody who grew up, was born and raised in communist Russia, Massachusetts, we couldn't have things like suppressors, silencers, because they're evil. They turn you into assassins, and you don't want to have protected hearing. One of the first things I did when I moved to Free Tennessee, when I moved to America, was to buy a couple, just because I thought they were cool. But the NICS check system, if you've ever bought a suppressor, is abysmal. It still is, even though it's gotten better because they've been threatened with lawsuits. To buy a suppressor or a short barrel rifle, something that they don't like just because it's a little shorter than the long one that they say is okay, you have to do a whole bunch of things, fill out 2 forms with the ATF, give them 2 passport photos, fingerprints, ask their permission to do a background check that you already had to buy guns, and if you have a state concealed carry permit, you've already done the same background check, but do it again and just wait. We'll get back to you eventually, just wait. And sometimes it takes 12, 13, 18, 24 months before they get back to you. Anybody heard a right delayed is a right denied? Well, they're doing it, and what are we doing to stop it? Now, sure, we'll come to events like this where we're all thinking the same thing and complain about it, but when we leave these campuses, it's on us to actually do something about it. Otherwise, they'll be like, yeah, you know what, there's a rally today, but they're not going to do anything about it, so we'll be good tomorrow. So take action, guys and gals. Don't be afraid to speak up. There are other things that the federal government has done administratively that have severely lessened the amount of items we can have. Sporting purposes. Like, what does that even mean? The government doesn't know either. But it's a way that the ATF and the federal government can stop items from being imported just because they say it's not for sporting purposes. I mean, the Benelli shotgun that was stopped a couple months ago from being imported into this country because it had a 7-round tube, and they didn't like the number 7, they liked the number 5 better. So Benelli had to go change their production line to import the same shotgun with a 5-round tube because 2 extra tubes means it's no longer, 2 extra rounds means it's no longer sporting, but 5 makes it sporting. And these are the things they do regularly. They try to stop ammunition coming over because they don't think it's a sporting round. Well, who the hell are they to tell us what we can sport with? This is a free country, last time I checked, but again, if we don't take action, this just continues to be perpetually thrust upon us. Red flag gun confiscation. You've heard a few people talk about red flags today. I'm giving him a pass at the moment because I really like what he's doing right now, but Donald Trump actually is the one who made red flag confiscation laws in these states take off. Now he's said the right thing, he learned from it before, but we need him to take this opportunity right now to stop it, to step up and stop the things that are happening. There are so many things, guys and gals. The VA, raise your hand if you're a veteran. Look around, everybody. Raise your hand. Keep them up, guys and gals. Keep them up. These men and women out here gave their all for this country. And how did our country return their favor when they came home to defend the homeland? We're going to take away your guns. You don't have the right to keep and bear arms if you need help with numbers or paying bills, because we decided it administratively. And that's been happening for a while. It started with the Obama administration in earnest. And then groups like GOA put pressure on it. It was overturned. And then it came back once we had another administration that didn't think you all should have guns. These are things that we can stop right now because it can be done administratively. But then there's a flip side. Pam Bondi is the Attorney General of the United States of America, which means any lawsuit that's currently going on has to go through her. In fact, all the lawsuits that had Garland's name, remember him, now say versus Pam Bondi. It's phenomenal. So with very little action, Pam Bondi can stop the lawsuits by doing a little tiny thing and filing with courts and saying, you know what, we no longer defend that stance. It's a violation of people's constitutional right. They can stop things like the pistol brace ban and everything I mentioned earlier and everything else that the Biden administration forced in. They can stop it. They can also help us in situations with assault weapon bans. I mean, what is an assault weapon? Nobody can ever say what it is because there's no such thing. It's an action. Magazine restrictions. Because if you have an 11th round in some states, again, you just became an assassin and you're better than everybody else. Guys and gals, we have an opportunity before us, and I hope that if you get anything out of this, you realize the situation at hand is ginormous. We have 9 days. 9 days to get active, to put pressure on this administration, to put pressure on our representatives, to put pressure on our senators, and tell them to get their ass to work and do the job they were hired to do. Let them know you're watching them. Let them know you expect answers. I gave the number to the White House. I'll give you the number to the U.S. Capitol switchboard because you should be calling these people too. Area code 202, that's Washington, D.C. 202-224-3121. 202-224-3121. Even if you don't know who your U.S. representative is for your district and you don't know who your 2 U.S. senators are, the little old lady that answers that phone, she's always phenomenal with me. You just say, listen, my name is, and I live here, and I want to talk to my representative. They'll say, okay, what's your address so I know which representative is yours. They'll transfer you right to their office. Now you're going to want to be fired up, and you're going to want to make these people feel your rage. But the person answering the phone is a teenager or an early 20-something in college. They're not the representative. So go easy on them. Just let them know why you're calling, what it means to you. Why do you no longer want a pistol brace ban? Not because, Jared and GOA say it's horrible. What does it mean to you? And tell them I want a response from my representative or my senator. That way they know you're actually going to follow up with them. And they'll give you a response. They will do it. It might take a while. Like Elizabeth Warren just sent me another response 2 weeks ago from something I sent her 2 years ago. But it'll come. It'll come eventually. But we have to start being loud and proud. Our forefathers died to give us this system, and we don't use it. And the people who are elected representatives know that we're disenfranchised and we're angry, and they are laughing at you because you don't do the process that's there for us to fix it. So before things get too far down this road where America is no longer recognizable, let's pull together as Americans. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what kind of book you read. I don't care where you like to go swim. We're all Americans. It's time to pull back together again, and it's time to help make America great again. And we have an opportunity with a president who's given us this 30-day window that we can actually make some huge, huge grounds here. So thank you all for coming out here. Please express to your friends who would rather have like some donuts today than come out, or who had something else to do on Netflix, that they need to start coming out because the Trump Slump 2.0 is detrimental to us. Look what happened to gun stores during the first Trump administration. It's not a good thing. These 2 years we should be putting our feet on the pedal, not saying, hey, I'm gonna pop the parachute because we got something good going. So thank you all for coming. I appreciate each and every single one of you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for coming out and thank you for supporting what I do. God bless you.
Thank you.
I think we have some Q&A with Alex Shea out in the crowd.
Where's your phone? Give me constitutional questions, Google. All right. Here we go. That's right. I'm Alex Shea with GOA here in beautiful sunny Phoenix, Arizona at the Arizona Freedom Festival. Can I get a whoop whoop out there? Come on, folks.